Are you tired of trying hard, going on a diet, cutting bread, saying no to dessert, and still looking at the scale and seeing the same number? Or worse, a higher number? Do you feel like you're stuck even though you're doing everything, right? If so, take a deep breath and stay with me, because this is not your fault. The truth is, your body may be fighting you, and there are simple changes you probably ignore that are sabotaging your weight loss. And the worst part, if you keep doing this, losing weight will become more difficult every day. Maybe you're stuck in an invisible cycle of habits that inflame your body, slow your metabolism, and slow down your fat burning without you even realizing it. And if you're over 35, 40 years old, this gets worse. You know that swelling that doesn't go away, that heavy feeling, that abdominal fat that doesn't seem to go away with anything. There's an explanation, and it's not just the food's fault. It is the set of choices, schedules, and even wrong combinations on the plate that make losing weight almost impossible. But don't worry, because in today's video, you will understand why this happens and how to turn this around without suffering, without crazy fasting, without living on salad. Because losing weight in a healthy, quick, and hassle-free way is totally possible, as long as you know where to start. Because losing weight in a healthy, quick, and hassle-free way is totally possible, as long as you know where to start. And here comes a crucial point that no one talks about. Often, it's not what you're eating that's stopping you from losing weight, but as you're eating. Yes, the order of foods you put on your plate could be slowing down your fat burning without you even realizing it. Let's imagine a common situation. You wake up, you're hungry, and you decide to have that fit breakfast with wholemeal bread, fruit, yogurt, and coffee with sweetener. Sounds healthy, right? But this combination triggers your insulin early, and when that happens, your body goes into storage mode, not burning mode. Result? You spend the whole day more inflamed, with hunger spikes, craving sweets, and the worst, accumulating abdominal fat. And what was supposed to be a balanced breakfast becomes the first saboteur of your weight loss. Another mistake that seems harmless, but that hinders weight loss, is trusting in processed foods that promise to be zero sugar or zero fat. The truth is that many of these products contain artificial sweeteners, thickeners, and chemical additives that confuse your brain and your metabolism. Your body feels the sweet taste, reacts as if it were receiving sugar, and with that, your insulin rises, your hunger increases, and the cycle of binge eating repeats itself. Not to mention that these foods silently inflame the body, causing retention, tiredness, and that bloated belly that never seems to go away. This means that even if you eat little, you continue to gain weight. Or at least, it stagnates. And if you think intermittent fasting is the magic solution, beware. Bad fasting is another hidden saboteur. Many people start fasting by skipping breakfast and going 16 hours without eating. But when they break the fast, they overindulge in carbohydrates, fried foods, or processed foods. This creates enormous metabolic stress because the body comes from a period without calorie intake and suddenly is bombarded with a lot of energy that it cannot process properly. This stops fat burning, and instead of losing weight, you feel tired, headache, and even irritability. Signs that something is not working. Fasting, when poorly planned, becomes a hormonal bomb. And if you've already realized that all this could be happening to you, let me ask you a very simple favor. If this content has already opened your eyes and you believe it can really help you, click the like button now and subscribe to the channel. Because when you do this, you not only help yourself to continue receiving this type of transformative content, but you also help other people who are lost on this weight loss journey. And look, there are a lot of people who need to hear this. So, give it that strength. It's free and it makes a difference. Following this line, another very common and sneaky trap is light snacks between meals. Cereal bars, wholemeal biscuits, fruit yogurt, ready-made detox juice. All of this may seem harmless, but in practice, it only serves to trigger insulin again. These snacks typically have a high glycemic index and low nutritional density, meaning they offer a lot of sugar and little real value. The result? You don't feel full, you're still hungry, and you end up eating more in the next few meals. This messes with your calorie deficit, impairs insulin sensitivity, and directly sabotages your ability to burn fat. That's why, even if you eat a little, many people don't see any results. The body remains on alert, accumulating everything as reserves. And when this becomes routine, the metabolism slows down for good. Now, let's talk about something even more insidious. The wrong food combinations. Many people combine good fat with simple carbohydrates, thinking they are making a balanced choice. Example, whole grain bread with avocado or brown rice with olive oil and sweet potatoes. Separately, these foods can even be positive. But combined, especially at the wrong times, they increase the glucose peak and make fat oxidation difficult. The body, when receiving a high load of carbohydrates along with fat, prioritizes storing this energy. And what was supposed to be fuel becomes localized fat. The secret to smart weight loss is not cutting out everything, but knowing what to eat, when to eat it, and how to combine it. Most people never learned this, and so they suffer in silence, thinking that their body is broken, when in fact, it is just reacting to what you are offering it in an inappropriate way. And you know what's worse? If nothing changes, this difficulty will only increase. And that's precisely why today, I'm going to show you what no one tells you. There are 6 simple changes, which, if you apply them in the right way, will unlock your weight loss in an accelerated and healthy way. I'm talking about strategies that act directly on your metabolism, reduce inflammation, control insulin, and even increase satiety. Without a crazy diet, without having to go hungry, and best of all, without an accordion effect. And it doesn't matter if you've tried everything or if you've felt stuck for months. These changes work for those with a slow metabolism, for those over 40, for those who suffer from binge eating or feel that constant bloating. Stay with me until the end of this video, because I'm going to reveal each of these invisible sabotages step by step and how you can start changing that today, using just food as your main ally. No magic formulas or miraculous recipes. Here is applied science in a simple and practical way, straight to your routine, with real results. And the best part, what you will learn here could be the turning point that your body needs to finally react. And to begin with, let's expose one of the biggest villains disguised as a friend of weight loss. Foods that promise to be healthy, but silently sabotage your progress. You know that fit cereal bar that you buy thinking you're rocking your diet? Those zero-sugar products, packaged wholemeal bread, and even yogurts with a light label? Well, all of this could be keeping you exactly where you are today. Stuck, frustrated, and feeling deceived. The big pitfall of these products is that they are loaded with inflammatory ingredients, artificial sweeteners, hidden syrups, and refined flours that increase blood glucose and trigger insulin, the hormone that stops your body from burning fat. And even without apparent calories, their metabolic impact is enormous. It's as if your body received an alert, store fat now. And that's what he does. Result, you feel more hungry, more binging, more bloated, and less energy. These foods trick your brain and taste buds into creating a false sense of healthy choice. Therefore, if you want to truly unlock your weight loss, you need to learn to identify these traps on the shelf. And believe me, this change alone can make your body start to react. In addition to the fit products that hinder your weight loss, There are more hidden saboteurs that are part of the routine of those who believe they are on the right path. One of them is excess fruit throughout the day. Yes, fruit is natural, it has vitamins. But what no one tells you is that excess fructose, especially when consumed in the form of juice or in large quantities, stimulates the accumulation of fat in the liver and prevents the efficient burning of body fat. If you start the day with a glass of orange juice thinking you are doing something healthy, know that this could be taking you away from your goals. Another powerful trap is not controlling your refined carbohydrate intake throughout the day. Even in small quantities, bread, pasta, and white rice trigger insulin spikes, generate quick hunger, and put you in a vicious cycle of binge eating. And there's no point in eating little. If the quality of what you eat is low, weight loss won't happen. A third common mistake, and perhaps the most ignored, is not respecting the last mealtime. Eating late at night, even if it's little, disrupts the entire hormonal regeneration process, slows down metabolism, and prevents your body from using fat as an energy source while you sleep. Adjusting this detail can make a difference in just a few days. And now I want you to stop for a second and honestly think, how many of the situations I've talked about so far have you experienced and thought you were doing right? How many times have you started the day thinking you were making a healthy choice, but without realizing it, you were eating the very thing that is preventing you from losing weight? It is exactly at this point that many people give up, believing that the body no longer works or that there is a bigger problem, when, in fact, these are just simple and powerful adjustments that have not yet been made. Therefore, I want you to tell me here in the comments, which of these errors surprised you the most? Which one did you never imagine could be sabotaging your fat burning? This will help me better understand what is happening to you and may also open the eyes of other people who are watching this video right now, experiencing the same dilemma. This exchange is fundamental because true weight loss begins when you understand your body's signals and start making conscious choices. The crazy thing is that most of the time people get caught up in details that don't matter that much and ignore these key points that are here. And I know it's frustrating when you feel like you're doing everything right, but you don't see results. You look in the mirror, feel that constant bloating, your clothes getting tighter and tighter, even though you're eating right. And then you start to think that the problem is with you. But I assure you, the problem is not you. The problem is the silent habits that have accumulated over time and now need to be replaced. And that's what we're doing here. This video is exactly to take that invisible weight off your shoulders and show you that, yes, there is a way out. But it starts with awareness. So now that you've identified these patterns and started to understand where the error is, pay attention, because what comes next will show you what happens in your body when you change these behaviors. Now that you've started to see these hidden patterns that hinder weight loss, let's talk about two factors that are extremely ignored, but which have a direct and profound impact on your ability to lose fat and maintain an active metabolism: sleep and stress. And it's not self-help talk, it's science. Studies show that sleeping less than 6 hours a night increases levels of ghrelin, the hunger hormone, by up to 30% and reduces leptin, the satiety hormone. This means that your body starts asking for more food, even without needing it. And worse, it will store fat instead of burning it. There is a study from the University of Chicago that followed adults on a diet for 2 weeks. Half slept 8 hours a night, and the other half slept less than 6. The group that slept better lost more body fat, while the group with little sleep lost more muscle mass and almost no fat. In other words, not sleeping makes you lose muscle, gain weight, and even slows down your metabolism. Another point that needs to be discussed without further ado is chronic stress. The constant release of cortisol, the stress hormone, directly interferes with insulin and blocks fat burning. People who live in a state of alert with a busy routine, unregulated diet, and poor sleep, have a much greater tendency to accumulate abdominal fat. And I know this may seem far away, but I receive messages almost every day from people who were exactly at that point. Stuck, frustrated, thinking that their body was no longer responding. Like Luciana, 43 years old, who despite being on a low carb diet for months, couldn't lose a single gram of weight. When she adjusted her sleep and started taking short guided breathing breaks during the day to manage stress, her body responded in less than 2 weeks. The scale started to go down, the swelling reduced, and her energy completely changed. That's what I'm talking about. Your body just needs the right environment to function again. And when you understand all this, you start to see weight loss with different eyes. Realize that it's not about cutting calories like crazy or killing yourself at the gym. It's about respecting your body, adjusting habits that no one taught you, and creating an internal environment where your metabolism works in your favor again. And look, maybe now you're starting to feel that spark of hope. Maybe you're remembering the times you blamed yourself for not being able to lose weight, when in fact, all you needed was to understand what was really behind the stagnation. Because losing weight is not about punishment, it's about strategy. It's about knowing which simple changes bring real results. And more than that, sustainable. And if up until now you have identified yourself, seen yourself in the examples, in the mistakes, in the hidden traps, then take a deep breath and hold on tight. Because your turning point begins now. It's completely possible to regain control of your body, enjoy the image you see in the mirror again, and finally feel lighter, physically and emotionally. And the best part, this can start today. But there's one important thing you need to know. And you need to know it now. They exist 4 serious mistakes that continue to sabotage your weight loss, even if you are doing everything correctly. And the longer it takes you to identify and correct these errors, the harder it becomes to unlock fat burning. These mistakes have a name. They have consequences, and they are present in the routine of thousands of people who keep saying, "I can't lose weight." That's why don't miss the next video of it all. He gets straight to the point with simple, clear explanations that will open your mind. The title is 4 Mistakes That Are Sabotaging Your Weight Loss. And the more time passes, the harder it gets. Now activate the bell, subscribe, and stay tuned, because this next content is a direct continuation of this video, and it could be what you needed for you to have the click that changes everything. Don't leave it for later. Your body is asking for this change, and you deserve to experience this transformation with ease, awareness, and real results.